Yeah, I got.
Good evening and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Hartford Common Council. All proper notices were sent. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask if you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, Lori.
The mayor and all alderpersons are present.
Super. We have before us the unanimous consent agenda. President Hagee, second by Alderperson Turchi.
Motion by Alderperson Hagee, seconded by Alderperson Turchi, approving the Common Council minutes of December 13th, 2022.
Okay, any comments, questions, corrections, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have communications. City Clerk Lori Hetzel.
In regards to the spring election, we will have a primary on February 21st. That will just be for the Supreme Court, Justice of the Supreme Court. There's nothing local on that one. Then on April 4th, our local candidates are up for election. District 1, we have Jeff Turchi for a 3-year term. District 2 is Dennis Reagan and Brian Balin for a 3-year term. And District 3 is Kathleen Islip and Tina Savage for a 3-year term. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. At this time, we open up our podium to citizen comments. Any person from the City of Hartford wishing to come up and make a comment that would be germane to the City Council is welcome to just state their name and address. You get 3 glorious minutes. Anyone? Third call. Hearing none, we have the mayor's report. Well, my report really is simple enough in the fact that I just wanted to make sure that I think I can say it on behalf of the Common Council that for a very happy new year, not only for all of our wonderful employees. We have our employee appreciation dinner coming up, but also for all the citizens of Hartford. I think we made it through 2022 in very good shape, and we're sincerely hoping for a rousing 2023. And with that, we'll go for aldermanic requests. President Hagee.
Okay, several items tonight, Mayor. One, I'd like to announce that Kate Carroll is the new Executive Director of the Hartford Area Chamber of Commerce, apparently effective as of today, correct?
Yep.
I believe so.
And Mid-Moraine Legislative Committee will be meeting tomorrow night at the Jackson Village Hall at 7 p.m. Discussion is going to be about the referendum question that we're going to be discussing tonight to see how many communities have come forward on it, because we're running out of time to get it onto the spring ballot. It's got to be, I believe, 60 days before the spring election. So it has to get moved in fairly quick. And then we're going to have area legislators, the state legislators, whoever's invited, whoever shows up, they will be there to speak. And on a personal note, I have to say, I'm sorry to say that after 31 years, I'm going to have to step off the council because of personal issues, health reasons. Hopefully I'll get through that just fine, but it's going to be a battle for the next several months. I just don't see that I can do this job further without stepping aside. I don't think I would be doing the citizens fair, so I need to move along and take care of personal things. I'll try to make appearances here as I can, and if I can be of any assistance to the city, I'll be glad to offer that as my health permits. And then one other thing, we still have our city administrator. He didn't get fired as the one in Sheboygan just did, so.
Day isn't over.
Wow, the day.
That was on a positive.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. Okay, Alderperson Resniak.
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Alderperson Carroll.
I have nothing, Mayor. Night to Mayor.
Alderperson Garza.
Nothing tonight, Mayor?
Alderperson Turchi.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Sikora.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Alderperson Kohler.
Yeah, I just want to thank the two council members. I mean, you guys still got some time to serve, but I want to thank you guys for your service for us. I know it's a tough decision to make. Both of you guys have really good reasons why not you're running. And both of them are for the better of the community, some growing some more social life in the community, but as well as Dennis, I'm wishing you and your family the best through the health that you're going through. So thank you guys for serving, and we appreciate your efforts in making the decision in the best interest of the city of Hartford. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderperson Webb.
I would just echo the exact comments of Alderperson Kohler.
Alderperson Fulop.
So, Steve, I had a concern from a citizen, I think you guys were on that email, with respect to the speed of North Main or something like that. How do we go about processing that from those concerns? Can we do speed study, or how do we initiate something like that to kind of address the citizen concern?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, you pull the microphone up a little. You kind of.
So there was an email correspondence that went out with respect to the concern on the speed of North Main. How do I address that with respect to getting a speed study or understanding the concerns of that particular citizen?
Yeah, like anybody else, they can submit a complaint to the city administration offices, and Julie will take that down. It's best if you give us, if someone has a speeding, what block, what 100 block of that section of the road are they looking at, and then we'll forward that to the police chief, and then he will have an officer or officers review that area and see if there is a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's for all residents too. If they have complaints about speeding in their neighborhood, it could be a very residential neighborhood, or it could be, a thorough street, Monroe, Highway K, Main Street, whatever it would be, State Street. Just let us know.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Nothing else, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Yes, please.
One thing that I would be remiss in, I wanted to thank everybody who's offered prayers, support, and help in our time of need right now. So I meant to say that as one of my first items, so
Absolutely.
thank you.
You bet. With that, item number 9, a public hearing. This is a final resolution for the levying and collecting of Business Improvement District, or BID, special assessments. I'd like to open the hearing and ask for a reading of the notice.
Please take notice that the Common Council of the City of Hartford, Washington, Dodge Counties, Wisconsin, will hold a public hearing at 7 p.m. or thereafter on Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, in the Common Council Chambers of Hartford City Hall, 109 North Main Street, for the purpose of levying special assessments under Sections 66.0703 and 66.1109 Wisconsin statutes to finance expenditures for the Business Improvement District. The 2022 bid operating plan and budget, as well as a map of the boundaries of the district, are on file in the city clerk's office on the second floor of City Hall and may be inspected Monday through Friday between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. The proposed assessments at $3 per 1,000 assessed value of improvements were distributed in a mailing to affected property owners. The purpose of said public hearing is to hear those persons who wish to comment for or against the special assessments to finance expenditures for the Business Improvement District, dated this 27th day of December 2022. That was put in the Daily News on December 27th, and there were 57 notices sent.
Thank you. With that, we have explanation of hearing by staff.
Again, this is an annual, task that the city does. We are in process of the group that basically bills out the individual business owners within the Business Improvement District, which again is a geographic area in our community, is the downtown. And we also collect those and then disperse that money back to the bid for their annual expenditures.
Okay, at this time, we have appearances for anybody wishing to appear for the resolution of levying the tax for, or collecting the business improvement special assessment. Anybody wishing to appear for? Third call. Okay, at this time, we go to appearances against. Anybody wishing to appear against the levying and collecting of business improvement district special assessments? Anybody against? Anybody against? Hearing none, discussion by council. Seeing no discussion, I'll close the hearing. Ask for action on Resolution 3644, the resolution for levying and collecting of bid special assessments. Alderperson Fulop, second by Alderperson Rusniak.
Motion by Alderperson Fulop, seconded by Alderperson Rusniak for the adoption of proposed resolution 3644.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Standing Committee Reports, Finance and Personnel, Chairman Rusniak.
We have 3 items for discussion tonight. Item number 1, discussion and consideration of denying a bartender's license for Christian DeLonget due to past actions. Our committee discussed this earlier. Our police chief has recommended denial. Our Finance and Personnel Committee has recommended denial. And I'll open it up for any questions or comments. Any questions or comments?
Did the
Kurt?
guy appear at your?
No, he did not appear.
Oh, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No.
Any other questions or comments? If not, back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, looking for a motion for denying a bartender's license for Christian DeLonget for past actions. Alderperson Kohler, and second by President Hagee.
Motion by Alderperson Kohler, seconded by Alderperson Hagee to deny a bartender's license for Christian DeLonget.
Any further discussion? Yes, Alderperson Webb.
Can we just hear kind of like why we're denying the bartender license? I didn't hear the part in the.
It was all based on his background information. Usually what we look at is the violations that occur within a certain amount of time, and he had met that threshold. And then there was one other pretty much nail in the coffin for this individual.
Pull the microphone up.
Oh, sorry, for this individual that wouldn't have allowed him to possess alcohol anyway. So
Okay.
he just
Justin,
can't
we
do
have
it.
2 pages of reason.
Oh, I'm just. I'm sure.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
I rarely do this, so it was, yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
And we rarely do it either, because we're pretty nice
Right.
guys. Okay,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Chairman Rusniak.
next item, discussion and consideration of approving a referendum question regarding the sharing of county sales tax to be placed on the 2023 spring ballot. Steve?
Yes, Mid-Moraine Municipal Group, which handles municipalities in Washington and Ozaukee County, has met recently and talked about, again, trying to request that the county share some of the sales tax that they receive. As you know, anytime you buy something in Washington County, you get a 5.5% tax on top of that. That's a sales tax. 5% goes towards the state, which is shared with municipalities through the state shared revenue. And the other 0.5% goes back to the county. The county voted this in back in 1999 and has started receiving that 0.5% since that time. It continually grows at about a 5.15% clip. It is now up to over $15 million as of 2021. We don't have the 2022 numbers yet. But the question continues is that because this is a growing revenue source, why can't they share a portion of it with the municipalities within Washington County who are struggling to be able to maintain roads? One of the number one things that people complain about, at least to us, is roads. And so we'd be using that money towards roads. If approved, there's several steps that would have to take place. You're approving tonight to put it on the referendum question, non-binding referendum question, on the ballot in April. And if you so prove that, again, and the residents of the community vote in favor of that, that along with all the other communities in Washington County would go before the county board and ask them to listen to the constituents and share a portion of their sales tax with the municipalities. What we're asking for is no more than 20% of the total amount collected. Again, as I mentioned, in 2021, they collected over $15 million. And so 20% of that would equate to about a $3 million distribution between all the communities, towns, villages, and cities in Washington County. By that calculation and on an equation of population and assessed value, equalized value, I should say, we would receive somewhere a little over $300,000. $300,000 in our budget would allow us to mill and overlay about 0.94 miles of road, which equates to about 7 blocks could be cleaned up by us getting that every single year. Now, if you understand that it's growing at about 5.15%, again, 5% would be growing every year of the 300,000 we'd receive. So again, more and more roads could be done. So that is what we're asking is to be placed on the ballot in the city of Hartford. Already the town of Kewaskum and the city of West Bend has already approved this. All other communities will bring it up before the 16th of the month. We have to get it done by the 24th of the month, simply because it has to have enough time to get onto the ballot for the April election. Any questions? Yes.
This says that the money would be shared equitably across those cities, towns, et cetera. So is every municipality getting the same amount of money, or is it?
No, it's based on, again, equation of population and equalized value. So we would be getting the third largest amount.
And
Thank you. I have a question and a comment. First, shared revenue, of course, has always been a sore spot that I think that both of us absolutely agree on. We're sitting with a state that is bragging about a $6 billion surplus, and the shared revenue has not increased to anywhere near the degree that it should have. And of course, this puts an incredible strain on many municipalities, especially municipalities that are smaller and really have trouble properly financing their EMT, their fire departments, and I think it's a testament to a failure on the part of our legislature that they are not keeping up with that part, and I think it's important that they do. That being said, have you heard anything, or will this help offset the ridiculousness that the state has put us through with shared revenue debacle that they keep fumbling every year?
Again, I'm sure all of you were glued to the TV set last week when the governor was inaugurated, and he said one of the things that he was looking to do, among many other things, was change how a local government is funded, and he's talking about state shared revenue. To reiterate what the mayor said, state shared revenue actually has been flat, and we actually get less state shared revenue. The less state shared revenue is shared with municipalities today than it was 20 years ago. So this is why there was an unprecedented number of referendum questions on the ballot in communities in 2022 asking for help with, as the mayor said, police and fire specifically. We've never, ever had that many referendums. 85% of them passed, by the way. But anyways, it's a real problem, and we are told that is one of the things that the governor is hoping to do in his next term.
And then my comment, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Is obviously, I was sitting also on the other side of the table when I was serving as a county supervisor, and I didn't necessarily understand, I think, fully trying to balance both as to the fact of the municipal versus the county. This is a county tax. They claim, and I'm sure they're going to come back at us as at the referendum, that they, well, cities can put on a wheel tax or something. No, we're not going to invent another tax. That's anathema to my being. We are not going to do something like that. There are other counties that are sharing it, and given the fact that our legislature has refused up to this point to do anything as far as correcting the shared revenue conundrum, I think it makes absolute sense that given the growth that the city administrator has pointed out with over 5% per year, that we need to join the bandwagon of getting some of that tax money to help offset our road construction and especially other cities in Washington County. So I am absolutely supporting this at this time. Just wanted to let everybody know, and I will fight vociferously the county if they decide to try and go in a different direction. I would hope all of the county supervisors that live in the city of Hartford would agree with me. That would be, of course, Brian Krebs, Ken McCulick, and Jim Berg. So would encourage folks to reach out to them, your representatives on the county, and let them know that the city, all the cities, villages, and towns in Washington County need this help. And you're going to be able to do that through your Washington County representatives, because we can just pass something that says, please, please, please. They are the ones who are going to make that decision. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to, just for clarification, I know we've kind of talked about the 5.5%. We brought the state in there. I just want everybody to understand that this is the 0.5% from the county that we're talking about adding on there. There's more to come on the 5% that the state's doing, but this one right here is strictly on the county. I don't disagree with you. We do need to make sure that our representatives, our county supervisors are on board as well. But I just want to make sure that it didn't get misconstrued by anybody here that it's not the full 5.5%, it's a 0.5%, it's a 0.5% for the county that we're going to be asking on the as a referendum, as well as it's only going to be a kind of a directionary referendum. It's not a decisionary referendum.
Any other questions? Dennis?
On the shared revenue, when I got on this board back in 92, shared revenue and expenditure restraint in a community half this side equaled $2 million. It's now $1 million. So that's what has happened to our shared revenue, et cetera. As we doubled in size,
Good point.
we kept shrinking.
Good point.
So that's one thing, and using it for roads makes sense because there are a lot of communities, they don't have a lot of other things going on. We'll take village or township of Farmington, they've got roads, that's their main expense. So making it that everybody gets money for roadways is
I heard you
what
have
this
an
is all
interest in roads also, right?
about. A little.
Okay, just checking. Any other questions or comments here? If not, back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, for moving forward on the referendum question regarding the sharing of county sales taxes, motion by Alderperson Fulop, second by President Hagee.
Motion by Alderperson Phillips, seconded by Alderperson Hagee, approving a referendum question regarding the sharing of county sales tax to be placed on the 2023 spring ballot.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Chairman Rusniak.
Last item, discussion and consideration of approving a proposal from Ramaker for a preliminary design study for the Signacast Indoor Aquatic Center Waterslide Tower for a cost of $15,000. Randy, they should be called Rainmaker, shouldn't they, instead of Ramaker?
$15,000 for a
Rainmaker?
preliminary study.
Study.
Rainmaker for them.
So they can
And they
tell
were
us what to do.
$1,000
Yeah.
over, I mean, yeah.
Randy has the floor.
Yeah, I know, I'm just still choking on it.
I don't disagree with you, Mayor. So yeah, $15,000. We did have $14,000 budgeted in our CIP. Again, what this is a study of the stairway going up to the slide and the indoor pool. It's having some corrosion issues. It needs to be replaced, so this is a study to tell us what needs to be done. Where do we get that extra $1,000 from? Finance prior asked me to go back and say, hey, can you reconsider that $1,000? So that's my first directive.
Oh, I thought it was ARPA funds was on the.
Well, if I can't get them to come down, we're gonna
The extra
utilize
$1,000.
$1,000
Right.
of ARPA funds, correct?
If I may ask, thank you very much. I'm just curious, are they going to possibly bid on the construction of this? Or do they just do $15,000 deals for examining stairways?
They're examining the stairway and giving us engineering plans.
That's it?
That's it.
And this study is mandated. We can't do it without having a study.
I understand. It just,
Yep.
from a layperson reading that, I was weak-kneed when I saw the dollar amount and figuring they're studying a stairway.
We're hoping to negotiate, Randy.
I can't tell you you're wrong.
Yeah,
We're hoping to negotiate it.
I mean, anybody, I see knowing smiles on this. I'm just hoping I'm not too far out in the.
I might go back to school and
This was
consider a second
discussed
career,
earlier.
so.
What we're doing is we're buying our stairway to heaven.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, okay, to heaven.
For those of you old enough to remember that song,
70s and 80s, it was the prom theme.
every year.
Beats me, wasn't around. Any other questions or comments? If not, back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, for approving the proposal from
I think
Ramaker
Alderperson
for
Turchi
the-
has a question.
No, I don't. I'm
sorry.
just approving. Let's go.
Oh, you're going to approve this? Okay,
Why
you're gonna
not?
Put your name on that,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna put my name on that
Alderperson
bad
Turchi,
idea.
second by
Yes.
Alderperson Fuller.
Bad idea.
Motion by Alderperson Turchi, seconded by Alderperson Fulop, approving a proposal from Ramaker for a preliminary design study for the Signacast Indoor Aquatic Center Water Slide Tower for a cost of $15,000.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. We skip all the way down now to item number 13, the City Administrator's Report. Discussion and consideration of approving a real estate agreement for a land swap between the City of Hartford and Alan and Dolores Rettler.
We are in the process of trying to look to develop 40-acre lot that's in the industrial park. And to do that, we need the ability to create a road for, and the infrastructure underneath that. But to put in that road, we have been in the process for probably the last 2.5 years to get to this point where we are now looking to swap land with one of the property owners who is adjacent to our property. They would be to our east, I believe it is, east or north. Anyways, the Rettlers own that property, and for us to be able to get a road in around the water areas that are in the area of the road, we are looking to swap an acreage on their southern half for a equal part to their west side. So again, this would take away some land that they have, but give us some other land. So again, we can get that road in there for future development. This land swap costs us nothing except for some of the closing costs and things like that. And then if approved, we'd move on to finalize the plans and then look at the actual construction of said road. Again, until you develop this road, you're not going to be able to use or develop that 40 acres for whatever purposes. Yes.
So, trying to understand that on a map, I didn't see that on the executive. Is this the end of Innovation Way, where they have the AP Healthcare and Zeller Transportation and connecting down to where the Dream Center and such is, or?
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is.
Okay, okay.
It's connecting those two areas.
You're
that,
just creating
you know,
an east,
Yeah.
yeah, got it. Thank you.
Alderperson Turchi?
Remind me where in the CIP we're gonna have the road? What year is the road gonna be put in, and how much is that road
Yeah,
gonna
it
cost?
could, we have it, it's under TID number 12, it's called, in your budget. So we have it scheduled for 23 this year, if TID 12 is developed.
Okay.
So so TID 12 would be your mechanism to pay for it. And then it would open up that TID, which we have to do by September, and then to count for January 1st. And then you work on the infrastructure, hopefully get some shovels in the ground this year yet.
Is this all part of that, the development with the county and that subdivision down there? Is that all part of that whole deal?
It could be, it doesn't have to be. To develop any of that, we actually have more than one project that is proposed for this area. We have a existing company that's out there that is looking to purchase the land right here, as you see in the green screen. So when you come, the beginning of that road that would hook up, they are looking to purchase property right there, but they need the road to get to that property. They wouldn't be able to do so unless we extend that road. But then the remaining 40 acres would be a part of, it could be a part of that county project, but it could also be industrial development in the future. I mean, if that never goes, if the housing thing never goes through, it would be industrial property of the future.
So on the proposed business that want to build in the property, is there any access to that property? I mean, is it basically right now an island out there that we'd have to build the road because they have no frontage or no other access
Yeah,
into that?
just to get to that road, you'd have to build an extension onto that road. Yes,
So just to be clear, when I looked at the proposal, at least what I thought is for this housing, that was on the northeast side of N, you know what I mean, on that higher. We're talking, this is to
no,
the,
that'd be on the south,
so the 40 acres is south of N, and you can't access it from N. We have to build this road coming out of Western to Innovation Way.
and I apologize, I wish I had the map in front of me. There's actually the total infrastructure in there that, again, if this housing thing would be the option, or if any industrial, if you remember, some of you probably weren't here, about 4 years ago, we had the development that was looking to go into that 40 acres, and we had 2 lots that we were going to subdivide the 40 acres into 2 20-acre lots. That actually had, we'll call it, I'm going to say it's an east-west road, which is what we're talking about tonight. And then there was a north-south road that was coming off of this and connecting up to N.
Okay,
That was also the second part of it.
got it. All right.
Any other questions? And I apologize, I didn't have the map with
Yeah,
us.
because I was looking for the map in the thing, and it wasn't put in the notes the amendments that I saw either. So I was kind of looking for the visual myself.
Either way, it sets us up for future development in that space regardless,
Yeah.
right? It has to be done regardless, Steve?
Yeah, the selling of the property is pretty much useless until you put something through there, the infrastructure through there. This just simply gives us the opportunity that maybe this year, maybe next year, we can put the road in. But until we have this land swap, you're never going to be able to do that.
Yep, got it.
And again, I'll go back to the fact of, if you remember, last year you approved the delineation of some of the wetlands out there, which would allow you to, again, so this is like phase 2 of this whole process.
Jeff?
Yes,
If we would decide to not pass or not pass, this could come up again, correct?
well, your land swap fails or passes, you'd have to go through another process to get it to come back,
Correct.
if that's your question.
So that's my question. The statement is that nothing's going on, so why pass it? Until something goes on that we're more clear about, then we can make a better decision, is what I was inferring too. So you guys can read my tea leaves on where I'm going with this. So you can move on to somebody else's questions. Thank you, Steve.
I disagree. This is the first step in this process. Whether it's developed residentially, whether it's developed industrially, this is the first step, is getting that road in there. And we can't get the road in there until we get the land swap taken care of. And if this party is agreeable to a land swap now, we better do it now, not later.
I would tend to disagree, but that's okay.
And any other questions?
I'd like to
I mean,
disagree.
The approval right now is just to do the land swap. It has nothing to do with putting a road in, doing anything at that point.
But
It's
it's
just
the first
opening it
step.
up. If there's a choice down the road, we have that opportunity.
Like I said, first step.
Yeah, there's a whole big step you'd have to take to move forward to do it, because it is only in the budget as a TID 12. A TID only becomes palatable if you have the revenue source behind it, no matter if it's an industrial building, the next quad graphics 2, whatever you're going to have. So that's a huge balloon that's still sitting out there that, again, wouldn't happen unless you have the TID, unless we come up with a whole lot of more money. Total project cost of that infrastructure for the road and everything else is, you know, I think we've talked about this, is well over $3 million.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just opposed of putting in infrastructure and not, you know, this isn't the field of dreams. We put it in and let's see what comes in,
If you build it,
if we build it. But, so, and we're not building it. All
I
we're
didn't hear
doing
what-
is we're setting ourselves up for the opportunity in the future once we're presented with a proposal. Correct?
yes.
Sure.
Not gonna change my mind.
You don't have to. Any other questions for Steve? Not, back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, looking for a motion to approve the real estate agreement for a land swap between the City of Hartford and Alan and Dolores Rettler. Alderperson Fulop, second by Alderperson Webb.
Motion by Alderperson Fulop, seconded by Alderperson Webb, approving a real estate agreement for a land swap between the City of Hartford and Alan and Dolores Rettler.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
Mo- Motion carried for adjournment. Alderperson Sakura, second by Alderperson Carroll. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We stand adjourned. Thank you.